Whether it's day or night, sunny or cloudy, inside or outside, the Citizen Garrison keeps on ticking, absorbing the faintest amount of light to charge, then holding that charge for well over a month. So unless there's pure darkness indefinitely, this timepiece will be powered until the capacitor can't hold a charge anymore, which would be years beyond the lifespan of a battery in a battery-powered watch, even outlasting the life cycles of some mechanical watches. I've had this watch for years and once put it away in a case for months until it stopped. When I took it back out, it came back to life within less than a minute before even going outside. Another draw, whether this is solar powered or not, is the green dial. To be more exact, Citizen calls it an evergreen dial. Indeed, it does look like the darkest green you'll find from an evergreen tree, though it does look black to most people at a distance, sometimes even when in direct light. Every time I've asked someone what color the watch is, the answer is black, except for one little human with an eye for detail. It's quite green when less than an arm's length away. Then, I get the response, "Oh yeah, it is green." The dial color and simple design make it easy to match with almost anything except a suit. But in this day and age, who cares if you do that? Being a simple field watch design means nothing too fancy. Citizen has a line of watches in the field watch style called the Garrison. What I have here is the Citizen Garrison model BM6838-09X. The 42mm case, combined with the contrast of the hands and markers, makes the watch very easy to read. The same for the red seconds hand, which complements the green dial well. It's still quite visible, even though it's thin as a pin. The date window, on the other hand, is hard to read for me and might as well not even be there. It's a bit too small and only clear from some angles. Plenty of glare with the mineral crystal, which Citizen says is impact and shatter resistant. But surprisingly, it will rarely be an issue. That's because the glare is common but not intense. There's also a sunburst effect, refracting light into straight rays. Then, once in a while, light will hit just right for a rainbow glimmer. Either that, or some oil got smudged on. Durability has been good, no scratches forming nor damage from impact. Though I've only had some minor bumps, which have usually just seen the watch case hit some metal at an angle. Not anything really like the watch face directly hitting concrete. As for the Lume, I don't really care for it. Unlike the solar charging, it doesn't really charge much from ambient light. So if you go into darkness, it's quite dim. It just looks brighter on camera because the video naturally shows more contrast in low to no light. All these clips are raw footage, no editing. And without hour markers, telling the time can be slower. It's the same story when the hands are fully charged. They get reasonably bright, but it's still slower to read the time without hour markers. Now, when looking at the bright side, the case is close to perfect for everyday casual wear, because it's not too bright and shiny, nor is it too dull. So it still has the appeal of silver tones from stainless steel, without being too loud and blingy. The case thickness is in the average to thin range. Sometimes I forget it's on the wrist, but usually I'll still feel its light presence. That's why it doesn't bump into things too often, and when it does, it's usually not a big collision. Finishing is quite good, especially for this price range. Speaking of which, I got this on a massive discount. It was already reduced price, then it was a holiday sale, and on top of that, I had a discount code for being a first-time buyer. In total, that was around 40% off full price. Holding it and wearing it, there isn't really any sharp metal to speak of. The edges have a gentle curve, and even the corners at the end of the lugs are relatively dull compared to the sharp points commonly found on watch cases. The case and crown in general have well-designed curves, so there isn't really any poking or scratching around the hand, wrist, or arm areas. Overall, build quality isn't fragile by any means, but it just doesn't feel as solid as it could be based on how it looks. I can't quite describe it, but when I hold it, it feels like it won't fall apart on me, but there's like a disconnect between how it looks and how robust it should feel. In short, it looks tougher than it feels, but it's not a piece of garbage. This is almost all subjective, and like most everyday watches, you don't really need to worry about damage, especially how I and most people would wear it, not doing anything too demanding with constant impact. I know people wear Citizen Garrison watches when doing medium to light work for home repairs and renovations, work in workshop settings, and others that shoot while wearing them, and all the watches have held up fine. Onto the 100-meter water resistance rating, I can't really speak to that since the most water exposure this gets is some rain or splashes from washing my hands. When talking about proportions, the 42mm case is big, but not bulky. It's just under that threshold even for an average to small wrist. In other words, it's big without being oversized, which suits the look of this casual watch just fine. Check out how it looks next to this 38mm watch, the Hamilton Bronze Khaki Mechanical, which was the first watch I ever reviewed. Here, the Garrison has a medium brown leather NATO strap, which the Hamilton came with. The Citizen watch suits it better in terms of size. In general, NATO straps work better with larger watches. The Color 8 shell cordovan strap the bronze watch has is 20mm wide, but it's too thick to fit through the lugs of the Garrison. The Garrison's 21.5mm lug width can hold 20mm straps if they are thin enough, which most are. The extra 1.5mm has little to no impact on how securely 20mm straps fit. I gave away the default strap the Garrison came with some time ago before I began making this review. It was alright, a classic look, but I didn't like how it tapered in terms of thickness and width. There was also a foamy, rubbery-like layer sandwiched in between thin leather. This provided cushioning but added bulk and reduced flexibility towards the watch. As you can see in most of the clips, I usually pair the Garrison with this olive green leather strap. It really brings out the dial's green, especially when contrasted against a background like these chukka boots, which are a mix of reddish orange-brown, the opposite end of the brown leather spectrum. These boots are quite rare and you'll find out why in an upcoming review. The strap is a veg tan leather, and this footage was taken when it was relatively new. Here's what it looks like after it's aged a bit. Next is this heavily worn strap made from waxed flesh leather from the Horween tannery, adding interesting dimension and texture. Like the previous straps with a button closure, this is 20mm wide and is made by Guarded Goods. When it comes to the intangible meaning and story behind the watch, there's really nothing special to say about that. I simply just wanted a field watch as a daily driver that had a silver case without being too shiny. Then it's also a bonus the dial is dark green, a highly underrated color. Likewise, the solar-powered Eco Drive was also appealing. Just set it and forget it. Although it doesn't represent or symbolize anything in particular for me, I can say if you wear it, you send a subconscious message that says you're a person who cares about form almost as much as you care about function. First and foremost is function, then the second priority is some style. I don't have any standout memories with it, just a collective memory of the many times I've worn it to get me through day after day. I'll get back to a boot review next, then the next watch review will be something special, so stay tuned for that.